Hello and welcome back to Lorcana Villain. My name is Baker, and today I've got two fun decks to profile for you, both of them being Ruby Steel Heroes. Now, I meant to get this video out a few days ago. I was sick last week, and to be honest, I'm still feeling quite bad. It's really boring. I don't really get sick that much, but when I do, it hits me like a ton of bricks. And I was so hoping to be fully over it by now, but I'm still kind of feeling it. But there's work to be done. I want to do this video, and we are well and truly in Ursula set championship season. I've already had a lot of submissions of deck lists via email and Twitter. Thank you so much to everyone that has submitted. And I'm going to look to record that first video for the first batch of decks probably Tuesday evening. I'm going to give a little bit more time for anyone that might have won one over the weekend to submit, and then I can include them in the first video. Also, one slight correction concerning submissions for set championship lists. I said I was going to be doing a junior version, which I'm still doing, but I didn't clarify if you yourself or someone you know is a junior that plays in a set championship. Even if they don't win an Ursula, send me the list anyway, and if it would mean something to them, then we'll still highlight them in our juniors only video. But yeah, that's going to be taking place for the rest of the month, whether you're a junior or not. Send over your deck lists either to lorcanavillain@gmail.com or via a Twitter thread. But yeah, I need to get those out, and we've had quite a lot of reveals for set 5 now, and I haven't reviewed any of them yet, and they're definitely about to pick up. So there's lots to be done, so I need to crack on with the work. And yeah, I was really keen to talk about these two deck lists. So over the weekend in Germany, which I got to cast, I got to meet again Tim, who is on the design team and in charge of localization for Lorcana. I got to meet him in Lille, a really, really awesome guy, and he was also in Germany because Steve Warner couldn't be there, so Tim basically did the same thing that Steve did in Lille, was presenting the prizes and just overseeing everything. But yeah, in the evenings, myself and Spessy and Ross and I know like Alphos and Kawa and a bunch of other people were all chilling out in different people's, either our hotel or the Raven. When I say our, I mean like the Fanfinity / tournament center, who all like basically organized the event. We were in one hotel, and most of the Ravensburger lot were in another hotel, and we were all meeting up at one or the other to play some Lorcana. And yeah, I had a couple of games against him. We did a normal match, my Ruby Amethyst versus his Ruby Sapphire, which I was able to cinch 2-1 just. They were very good games. But yeah, then in the evening he brought his Ruby Steel deck. And I lost to this 3 times in a row. And Fabian, who is Tim's intern at Ravensburger, who I met for the first time in Germany, super cool guy, he was also running the Ruby Steel Heroes deck, but his own version with a very cool combo. But we'll move on to that one afterwards. But yeah, Fabian, I was able to 2-1, but Tim 3-0'd me. In the 3 games we played, 3-0'd me. And yeah, it was kind of crazy. So I absolutely want to profile this. Now, I want to mention straight away, Tim or Fabian, when we get to his list, they're not suggesting that this is the best version of a Ruby Steel Heroes deck. From my understanding, this was just the iteration that they were currently on at the time. And like while we were talking, they were like talking about a bunch of things that you could change and to improve it or just go with different lines. But this is just what they were playing with on the day. So obviously we've got a big emphasis on heroes in this deck, and one of the cards that's going to take the most advantage of that is Philotetes, No Nonsense Instructor, 4-cost inkable 2/3 quest for 2. Your other hero characters gain Challenger 1, just as a static ability, and Shameless Promoter, whenever you play a hero character, gain 1 lore. And I'm pretty sure that every character except Lumiere and Benja and Chief Bogo. Yeah, so there are 3 characters here that aren't heroes. Everybody else is. So that's really cool. Just the Challenger 1 can help with fixing math. And obviously if you're gaining lore for every time you play one, then that can give you some really cool reach. We'll go back to the beginning. We've got 4 copies of Li Shang, who is a 1-cost 2/2. But we're also running the Floodborn, Valorous General. I think it's Valorous. I think it's Valorous. 3-cost inkable, 3/2 quest for 1. You can shift him by discarding a character card, and the ability Lead the Charge. Your characters with 4 strength or more get 1 more lore. So the only character that fits this ordinarily is Maui, who of course can't quest, but because we are running 4 copies of Lumiere, who gives all of your other characters +1, we can put Li Shang, Mickey Mouse, and Robin Hood can all suddenly fit this theme and have at least 4 strength to get an extra lore pip, which is pretty cool. And of course, if you've got multiple Lumieres on the board, there's a chance that you can get Goofy, Bogo, Benja, or Philatites up to that amount as well. So that can be kind of cool. We've got a 4/4 Robin Hood line, who's obviously just a great card and a hero, as well as being a shift line for our big 5-cost songs. We're running 4 Whole New World and 3 Grab Your Swords. There's another shift line. We're running a 4/4 Mickey Mouse line. The 2-cost being a 1/3 Quest for 1, and when you play him, chosen character gets Challenger 2. And we're also running the Floodborn, who's a 5-cost Inkable. You can shift him for 3. 3/4 stat line, Quest for 2. Has Resist 1, which is pretty cool, and Sweep Away is irrelevant. You do damage when he's played. You do damage equal to the number of brooms you control. We're not running any brooms, so this is here partly to be a shift line so that we can get Whole New World and Grab Your Swords online. It's also just questing for 2, but potentially 3 if you've got Lumiere and Li Shang on the board. The Resist one is not irrelevant. Obviously, this falls most of the time to Lumiere, but of course, sorry, not Lumiere, to Medusa. But if we've got Lumiere on the board, then we do keep him out of Medusa. The same can be said for the Robin Hood and the Li Shang. So against Ruby Amethyst, and this is it, this is what Tim said, Ruby Amethyst is the best matchup for this particular deck. It kind of just folds to 2-drop Ursula, but let's carry on going through. But yeah, this Floodborn Mickey Mouse, it's not there for a lot more other than being potentially an aggressive quester with an okay stat line and can sing your songs. But the 2-drop is really cool, just being able to give Challenger to these smaller characters. Again, we're running a lot of low-cost heroes, or to make Goofy hit that little bit harder. So this Mickey ended up being relevant more than the Floodborn itself. We've got 2 copies of Benja for item removal, 4 copies of that Super Goof, obviously with Rush, and when he challenges, you gain 2 lore. And as you can see, we're just an aggro deck, really. We're a mid-range aggro deck. So this Goofy can come out of nowhere and just steal some games, and did against me. We're running 1 copy of Chief Bogo, I'm not sure. Respected Officer, but when you play a Floodborn, you do 1 damage to each opposing character. So we can play this on 4, and then on 5, we either play Mickey or Robin Hood, and then we're immediately doing a 1 spread, which can deal with Bucky's while Bucky is still in format, or again just the maths that you need along with a Grab Your Swords or something. So yeah, that's all of our cat. Obviously for Maui, absolutely, if you're running Ruby, then this is one of the main reasons to run Ruby, just great board control. And then for our songs and actions, we've got 4 copies of Storm Rage on, 4 strength for Raging Fire. We've mentioned the Whole New World and the Grab Your Swords, and we're running 2 copies of Medallion Weight, which is a 2-cost inkable item. Exert, pay 2, chosen character gets +2 strength this turn. Whenever they challenge another character, you may draw a card. So for a start, this can be another way that we get Li Shang's ability online, because obviously if you're playing Medallion Weights, the assumption would be that you would want to challenge, because that's going to let you draw cards. But if you're just if this is going to win you the game, then cool, you just boost something up with Medallion Weights and then quest with it for an extra lore, because Li Shang's on the board, that gets you game, then great. But obviously this is another draw engine that we can utilize alongside a Whole New World, and yeah, just fitting the theme of making all of our really low-cost characters hit that bit harder. Obviously the Mickey having resist can, you could potentially get a few trades off with Mickey. So yeah, a super cool fun deck. As Tim said himself, it really just folds to 2-drop Ursula if they hit your Whole New World and you can't replenish, because again, you just want to flood, you just want to do kind of Steel Amber Song things, which is just flood the board, play the Whole New World to generate a bunch more, and then if they have the answers for them, then you just do it all again and just overwhelm. And that's kind of just the theme of this deck. And yeah, against Ruby Amethyst, it can have a really, really good matchup. Now let's take a look at the build that Fabian was playing, with a few key differences. They're only playing 2 copies of Lumiere and 2 copies of Philatites. We've got an extra Medallion Weights in here, which is really needed for the combo that we're going to go through in a minute. We're also running 1 copy of Imperial Proclamation, 1-cost inkable item. Whenever one of your characters challenges another character, you may pay 1 ink less for the next character you play this turn. So yeah, this could absolutely come up in the early to mid game. If you surprise them with the Imperial Proclamation, you could potentially cheat something cool out, so love to see it. We've got 2 copies of Ariel, Adventurous Collector, 3-cost inkable, 2/3, quest for 1, evasive, a hero, as well as a princess, and inspiring voice. Whenever you play a song, chosen character of yours gains evasive until the start of your next turn. So she's got evasive as is, so she could potentially get away with some questing and singing songs if they don't have the evasive answer, although of course she has got that 2 strength, so she's going to fall to brawls quite a lot of the time. But yeah, this can be a good evasive answer. We're running 3 copies of LeFou, opportunistic flunky, 3-cost inkable, 2/3. During your turn, you may play this character for free if an opposing character was banished in a challenge this turn. And like I said, similar to the last build, we're just trying to get out as many characters as we can, generate a ton of value, and then play Whole New World and just kind of overwhelm. And LeFou is a great way that we could potentially get another card out of our hand nice and early to just flood the board and be something that can sing songs for us. So great. We've got those 4 Super Goof, only 2 Filatitis, 4 Mickey, 4 Maui, and 4 Robin Hood. And then we'll come back to the rare. We're running 3 copies of Teeth and Ambitions. Oh, by the way, 4 copies of Mini, Always Classy. We're not running that Li Shang line, so that's how we've made some of these spaces. But yeah, we're opting to play as our additional 1-drop the Mini, who's a 1/3, which has really nice synergy with 3 copies of Teeth and Ambitions, which is also good with potentially the Ariel, the LeFou, the Goofy, even the Filatitis. Like, again, a lot of things can take this 2 damage from Teeth and Ambitions, and again, great for opposing Flynn Riders and Diablos, things like that. And now the real spice, we're playing 4 copies of One Last Hope. Very thematic with the Filatitis up in here, you'll love to see it. 3-cost uninkable song. Chosen character gains resist 2 until the start of your next turn. If a hero character is chosen, they may also challenge ready characters this turn. So that's super cool, and it's a way that we can deal with. But like this deck should have pretty good Bucky, to be honest. If we get down Minnie Mouse or Robin Hood early, as long as it's a hero. And then, yeah, just One Last Hope, challenge that Bucky, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, we're also running 4 copies of Raya, Headstrong, 3-cost inkable, 2/3, quest for 1. Note to self, don't die, always good advice. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may ready this character, she can't quest for the rest of the turn. So the combo here is obviously you get Raya down, wait for her ink to be dry. Preferably you've also got a medallion weight on the board so that you can increase her strength by 2, so she becomes a 4/3, and then hit her with the One Last Hope. So you're a 4/3 who is resist 2 and is re-readying when you take out opposing characters. And yeah, I managed to beat Fabian 2-1, but they were all super close games, and in 2 of those 3 games he was able to do, like, you imagine a standard Ruby Amethyst field, especially mine where I'm playing Kuzco, like Kuzco, Rabbit, Snake, so like, I think it was Kuzco, Rabbit, Snake, Fox. And it obviously got banished in the end, but it managed to completely clear that field and just completely equalise. And there was another game where I think it was able to get even more value. It was super cool. It is so niche. It is so situational, but it's super, super cool. So if you are looking for something fun to take to League, or maybe even to set Championship, go on, you won't. You've already won an Ursula. You won't take this to set Championship. Don't call me a liar. I never lied about a thing in my life. You won't do it. You won't do it, fam. I know you won't. But if you do, let me know and take a picture of the board state and I will absolutely flex it for you, because this is super, super cool. But yeah, I spoke with Fabian afterwards, and again, this was just the latest iteration of the deck that he was running. Like, if you want to run this Raya pack, realistically, Tim's is probably a bit more consistent, but this Raya engine with One Last Hope is super, super cool. So it depends which way you want to lean into. Do you want to feel like you're probably a bit more consistent, or do you want to have this like super fun combo available? But again, even the Tim version, the one that's a bit more consistent, it's great fun. How often do you get to play Ruby Steel? And I know a lot of people would have been assuming this would have been a pirate deck, but no sir. But yeah, for Fabian's list, the thing I don't like the most, I said this to him, is that he's not running Storm Rage on, especially with the LeFous. And he agreed completely. It was like, no, I will change this around again before we potentially get a chance to play again, because he's promised me that if I get to cast Italy, it's not confirmed, but if I do, do, then he's let me know he'll be ready and waiting for the rematch. But I need to start taking, I only ever take one deck, my Ruby Amethyst deck. I need to start taking some more fun stuff. But if I do get to go and we play, then I'll see if I can film it and maybe get you some gameplay of it, because it was super cool. But yeah, I'd love to see some people pick this up and try out different things. But yeah, I think definitely you want to get the Storm Rage Ons in here. I think Philatites is like a big part of the reason you play this deck, so I think I'd want at least 3. And I think Lumiere is super cool. Like, it really makes a difference a lot. And it's Lumiere really that the only big change that I would make for both Tim's and Fabian's list is getting Tragic Hero Beast, because then you don't have to be all in on a whole new world, especially if it does get sniped with Ursula. And again, he's fodder so much, but with Lumiere at least you can take Medusa away as a way that they can hurt you. But I suppose the argument is that if Ruby Amethyst is already a good matchup for you, why do I need to play cards that make me worse against that? But it's still a hero at the end of the day, so I would probably try and find room for beasts. I'm not sure about the Imperial Proclamation, even though it probably opens up some cool plays. I'm not convinced on the aerial. I think you've got these Teeth and Ambitions, and that's probably going to be enough a lot of the time. And you're running One Last Hope, and well, I suppose if they're evasive, Teeth and Ambitions I think does the job a lot of the time. I don't know, you could maybe sell me on the aerial. But yeah, it's both super fun lists. I'd love to see some people pick them up. But Tinkerbell is another way that you could absolutely go with this deck. And I'd be kind of tempted to find room for a 3-drop Sisu. The Inkable Wong is another hero at the end of the day, especially if you're playing Whole New World and you can guarantee you've got 8 strength. Sounds pretty good. So yeah, Sisu and Beast are the things that I would try and make their way in, but I'm sure they've tried these things. As I said, this was just the version they were playing at the time. But if you were going to pick up a deck like this, let us know in comments, like, what would you be tempted to try out. But yeah, just a couple of fun lists that I wanted to present to you, and hopefully some people will answer the challenge, take this to League or take this to Set Championship, and let me know. But yeah, that's it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe for all things Lorcana. Hit that like button to show support, and we'll see you soon.